case study or a customer study section, what you can do is you can read up on case studies and how companies have used tools to their advantage there also. So it will help you see how companies are using it in action as well. So for the purpose of this session, I have looked at two case studies. But before that, I've just taken a screenshot from one of the, one of these companies which I just mentioned. So so this is a screenshot from Amplitude. So let us say, you are a product manager for Spotify. What you would want to know is, for example, know users who have played a particular song in the past 1 week, or users who have played 5 songs in 7 days, or you might have certain other actions that you want to, derive insights from. For example, you might want to see users who have opened your app in the last 1 week, which songs have they listened to, what genres they have listened to, what has been their um, in-app journey, like where have they clicked, why have they clicked. That can help you give insights into how your app or your website is performing. So you can also, for example, retention, I think most companies measure. So you can look at retention by source. You have like something called D1, D2, D7 retention. How many people are coming back to your website and app again and again. You can also do analytics based on marketing channels or where users are coming from. Like you can do an analysis of are you mostly users coming from Facebook, or are users mostly coming from Google search. Then it doesn't really matter where most of the users are coming from. You might also be doing some analysis on uh, how long are these users retaining in your product. For example, you might observe that people who are coming from Facebook are generally more. Like there are 100 users coming from Facebook, but they come and then they never come back again, or only 10% of those users come back again. But if you look at users coming from Instagram, most of them are visiting your app again and again. So that means you might want to put more money on Instagram, because even though the number of users who are coming from Instagram or Google is less, but the quality of the audience, or they are your relevant audience for your app, right? So analytics is something you can derive based on your use case, the goal you're optimizing for. But this is just an example of how the tool looks like. Like you can see, you can specify actions users have taken. You can specify literally everything, every data point that you want to capture for a user. Now, the case study that I want to focus on first is ZipRecruiter. So ZipRecruiter is basically a market, like a two-sided platform for people, job seekers to search for jobs, and for employers to, get relevant candidates and hire them. So how would a company like ZipRecruiter go about using product analytics, right? So like we mentioned in the previous session, the first thing you have to do is to map your um, business goals to what you want to track. Because if you don't define your business goal, you cannot define analytics or metrics. So on the employer side, for example, ZipRecruiter wants to drive hires. But on the job seeker side, what they are looking at is MAUs. So when I say MAUs, they are looking at monthly active users. Now, that is a broad goal that you might want to look at. But within that also you can have multiple metrics. So it's not like you only want to have one metric, but one metric can be your North Star metric, which is going to be the sole metric, which is you are going to put up in presentations, or you are going to optimize for. But you might also want to see, like, out of these monthly active users, how many of them are converting, how many of them are getting jobs. Let's say for a job seeker, the goal of coming to this app is to get a job, right? So how many of them are coming, how many of them are applying to jobs, how many of them are actually getting a job offer. So your conversion rate as a metric can also be defined. You want to define conversion rate as somebody applying to a job, or like what other things you want your conversion rate to be. Second is NPS. A lot of companies use NPS as a metric to see how happy the users are. So the standard term uh, that companies use, like how do you measure NPS score, right? So you ask your users how happy or dissatisfied, like are they going to recommend your service to a friend, or you can ask them like how relevant are you in their lives. In case your company shut down tomorrow or your product was not available to them tomorrow, how would their life be impacted? That tells you about the NPS score or the number on the for you to measure. Third is app rating. So app ratings can also give you signals on how your app is performing. Like if a lot of your job seekers are not having very good experience using the app, or they do not find the relevant jobs, or they apply to jobs but they never get an interview call. There can be multiple reasons for users putting poor app ratings. It is your job as a PM to deep dive and see what is causing that. But at a broader level, you might want to set up these metrics to track and measure as well. Now, ZipRecruiter also does a lot of A/B tests, as a lot of B2C companies do. What that means is you roll out specific features to specific audiences and see which feature was performing better in which segment. So let's say you have developed a new feature that is meant to drive more job seekers applying to jobs. Then in that case, the conversion metric that you want to A/B test for will be uh, like this particular feature. So for every feature, like we also talked about it in the last session, you might want to have a metric to track the success or the failure of that particular feature. Now, one very exciting thing that ZipRecruiter's PMs analyzed was, so there are certain metrics that you can define. Now, there are certain things that you can look out for. Let us say you are looking out for searches that these job seekers are doing, right? You can run a hypothesis कि they will search for job title. So I my job should have the best job title or the most relevant job title possible. So if it's a product manager job, you would expect job seekers to search for product manager or product management. But what you find is that people are not necessarily searching for product management. People are putting up random searches, like they are looking for jobs closer to their homes, or they are looking jobs with respect to the qualifications required for a job. Like for example, somebody is just passed out or graduated from university, they're not sure what career path they have to choose. So what they do is they just search for job based on maybe compensation, location. There can be multiple reasons why people are looking out for a job. So if you get that insight, 80% of your audience doesn't really care what the job title is, or there might be people who are looking out for specific skills. Like I don't care if the job title is product manager or program manager or project manager, or or category manager. But when I read the job description, what I realize is this is actually a product management job, because whatever functions they have written is going to be about product management. I might just as well apply to that job because that is a relevant job for me. Maybe the job title was not correct, or that particular organization doesn't know what a product manager role is about. So basically the idea is, you can obviously have hypotheses, metrics, but always look out for data that might give you insights on certain trends as well. So this was the first case study. Let me quickly go to the second case study, which is about Silk. Now, Silk is like for all Amazon vendors, this is a product which helps them list their class, like list their offerings, list everything relevant to them. So how does Silk manage its product metrics? First of all, what metrics do they track, right? One second. Hmm. So the first thing is they want to track how much stickiness a vendor gets when he is on the app. Or for example, what vendor pages should uh, the vendor pay attention to, for example. Or how a vendor who is listed on Amazon might want to see his sales performance, or might want to track how he's doing with respect to its his like other players as well on Amazon, right? So that is one part. Second is you might want the vendor to measure things like, are vendors changing the date range, how have their sales performed with respect to the previous year, how are they using filters, what are the actions they are taking, like how are they exporting data, like. So in this case, in this product, I wanted to cover a B2B product as well. So you might want to look at specific. So here what Selk is trying to measure is how your vendors are using your product. Are they finding it difficult to change certain filters or change certain dates? Are they able to see how they are, how their sales is performing, what kind of. So basically, so here the metric that they measure is the contribution to growth. How is this product contributing to the growth of these vendors pages on Amazon? So again, it depends. So you might put in very broad level UX level metrics, or you might put in very minute level metrics to just see behavior of a particular user. So it totally depends again on your product life cycle and what phase of product development you are in. So I guess that is all from my end today. I wanted to have a very small session about the case studies. I'll take up any questions you have, and if you do the assignments, I get enough responses. We'll have the next session on 9th of May at the same time at 8 p.m. So guys, if you have any questions, you can just shoot now.
So Tvesha, hi, Kashish here.
Hi Kashish.
Hi. So regarding the assignment which you talked about, and you also demonstrated how companies use product analytics. So as LinkedIn is an organization, do we need to elaborate and see, because you have in the last PPT you have told us about the success metrics like 8 points, maybe growth, user engagement, things like that. So
Right.
under that, do we need to specify or think about the features which LinkedIn is using over time and how they did it on those success metrics? Like this is how we need to go about the product analytics thing.
You don't have to talk about how LinkedIn has progressed over the years. What you have to do is you have to take LinkedIn as it is as of now, or at a particular
Okay.
like if you want to look at a previous version of the product, that is also fine, but it should not be over time that you are analyzing LinkedIn. You have to analyze it at one specific point in time. What success metric would you measure? Like, because you cannot talk about how they have changed. You have to talk about how
Yeah.
what you're going to measure. You don't have to talk about what changed or what new features got introduced. We are talking about
Okay.
how you are going to measure whatever, and why you are going to measure that. And if you measure that, what insights is that going to give you? like to to derive your product roadmap. You don't have to come up with a product roadmap, but you should